Hello, everyone. I'm really happy to have you back on my channel. In this episode, the crisis is no longer just a warning sign. It has truly been pushed to its breaking point. After a series of mounting debts, after days and months of relentless pressure closing in, after being constantly cornered by creditors, with no time to breathe, no chance to slow down, Tieu San's ex-husband finally couldn't hold on any longer. He tried to manage things, not just once, but many times. He ran everywhere looking for help, tried every possible way, sold everything of value. He sold his car, a decision that was far from easy, because it used to be his biggest asset, something tied to so much effort, so many hopes. Then even the house, the place he once called home, the place filled with memories, moments that once felt peaceful. He tried to sell it too, leaving nothing for himself. He endured, he tolerated, didn't fight back, didn't resist, stayed silent in the face of threats, lowered his head under the growing pressure. But all of that, even after trying that hard, was still not enough. Not enough to fill the deep hole left behind by his past mistakes. A hole with no visible bottom. The more he struggled, the deeper he was pulled in. Nothing got lighter. Nothing stopped. Instead, everything only got worse. And then, at the most fragile moment, at the point where even the slightest push could make everything collapse, the most terrifying thing finally happened. One afternoon, with no warning, no unusual signs, everything seemed normal, but that very normalcy left everyone unprepared. As Ivy had just left a familiar place, a place she often went to, a place that was supposed to be safe. In just a brief moment, a moment no one noticed, she disappeared. No warning, no signal, no sound, no clear trace left behind. Just suddenly, she was no longer there, as if she had never been there at all. The disappearance happened too quickly, so fast that everything suddenly felt empty. Tieu San, the moment she realized, could no longer stay calm. She panicked, not just ordinary worry, but a real fear, spreading through her entire body, throwing her thoughts into chaos. She ran without thinking, ran on a mother's instinct, ran to every place she could think of, calling Ivy's name, again and again. Her voice echoed, then faded into emptiness. With no response, she searched everywhere, every corner, every street, every place Ivy might be, from one place to another, without stopping, without resting, not allowing herself even a second to calm down. She asked everyone around, every single person she met, hoping that someone had seen something, heard something, knew anything at all. But all she got in return were confused looks, shaking heads, vague answers, uncertain, not enough to hold onto even a small piece of hope. No one knew, no one saw, no one could help her right now. And then, silence began to take over. A silence more terrifying than anything else. Not because there was no sound, but because there were no answers. No trace, no clues, nothing at all to hold on to. Only an emptiness that kept growing with every passing minute. And within that emptiness, the worry was no longer just worry. It began to turn into fear. A fear that even Tieu San didn't dare to name. But she knew, very clearly, this situation was far from simple, and this incident might only be the beginning. Until that moment, amid all the chaos, amid the hurried footsteps, Amid the desperate calls with no response, a strange phone call suddenly rang out. The sound wasn't loud, but in that instant, it tore through the already suffocating space. Tieu San froze. Her hand trembled as she looked at the screen. An unfamiliar number. No name.
No recognición.
Yet it made her heart race uncontrollably. She hesitated for a second, just 1 second, but it was enough to feel something was terribly wrong. Then she answered. On the other end, there was no greeting.
No Sebastian.
Just a cold voice,
Dry.
and full of threat,
No emotion. No pause.
as if everything had already been planned. They didn't go around, didn't hint, didn't give her time to think. They spoke directly, clearly, decisively. Ivy was in their hands. A sentence, short, but enough to make everything collapse. No explanation needed, no proof required. Just hearing that was enough. The air seemed to freeze. All surrounding sounds disappeared. Only that voice echoed, clear to every single word. If she wanted the child to return safely, she had to bring money.
No delays. No mistakes. No choices.
And then, a warning was emphasized. No police,
No tricks.
no resistance. Otherwise, the consequences would be borne by the family. No raised voice,
No harsh tone.
but that calmness,
Was what made it terrifying.
as if, to them, this was completely normal. Something they were used to. Hearing that, Tieu San
Froze.
not because she didn't understand, but because she couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe that the worst thing.
Had happened this way.
The phone slipped from her hand, fell to the ground, a soft sound, but in that moment, it echoed frighteningly loud. Tears didn't need to be held back. They burst out instantly, not just drops, but a flood. She no longer had the composure
To keep herself standing.
Her legs gave out. Her body trembled, out of control. She could only cover her face and cry. A cry without words, without clarity, just something breaking from within. Her whole body shook, not from cold, but from fear. A fear beyond description. Fear, pain, despair, all at once. Because the one caught in all this was no one else but Ivy, the most innocent child, a child who had nothing to do with any mistakes, yet had to bear the heaviest consequences. Tieu San's ex-husband stood there, silent, not reacting immediately, just standing still, like a man who had lost his soul. His face,
Pale.
drained of all color, his eyes empty, as if he hadn't yet processed what he had just heard. This time, he was no longer a man pressured by debt, no longer someone struggling to survive, but a father facing the cruelest truth. His child had been dragged into everything he caused. No more distance, no more avoidance, no more excuses. Everything was laid bare. Regret rose up, not just a fleeting feeling, but a massive wave, relentless, impossible to stop. Guilt began to suffocate him. Every thought, every memory, every wrong decision in the past appeared one by one, and the pain was no longer outside, but deep inside him. He didn't dare look at Tieu San, not because he feared her gaze, but because he himself
Couldn't bear it.
because more than anyone, he understood clearly, if not for his debts, if not for his weakness, if not for mistake after mistake, then Ivy wouldn't be in this situation, wouldn't have become a tool for others to threaten. The ex-mother-in-law, at this moment, could no longer hold herself together. She collapsed.
Completely.
No more blame, no more calculations, only raw pain remained.
She sobbed.
Her cries broken, interrupted, incomplete, constantly blaming herself. Each word, like cutting into her own heart. If back then she hadn't borrowed money, if she hadn't let greed or naivety led her astray, if she had stopped at the right time, just a little earlier, just a little, then today, things wouldn't have come this far. Her granddaughter wouldn't have become a tool in someone else's hands, wouldn't have become the reason for those people to apply pressure. She clutched her chest, breathing heavily, her body trembling, as if she couldn't endure it anymore. Her mouth kept calling Ivy's name, calling unconsciously, calling in despair, as if calling enough times would bring the child. He stood there, observing everything, from Tieu San collapsing, to her ex-husband standing motionless like a lost soul, to the elderly mother crying in despair, all of it like a vortex with no way out. And he knew someone had to step out of that vortex. Someone had to stay clear-headed, to pull everything back together. Hai took a deep breath, keeping his thoughts from being swept away by emotion, keeping himself from being affected by the panic around him. He understood this was not the time for blame, not the time to revisit past mistakes, not the time to decide right or wrong, because all of that, even if said out loud, could not change reality. And the reality right now had only one thing that mattered. That was bringing Ivy back.
Safely. No delay. No mistakes.
No second chances. Just one wrong decision. And the price to pay would be unbearable. Hai immediately stepped forward.
No hesitation. No delay.
He took the initiative to ask for details, requested every part of the situation to be repeated, every word from the call, every timeline, every smallest detail, not missing anything. He reviewed everything, connected what had just happened, organized it in his mind, like assembling scattered pieces into a complete picture. His eyes became focused, no longer wavering. Every thought was considered, every possibility was laid out. He calculated each step, not to waste time, but to avoid mistakes, because he knew those people were not to be taken lightly. If they dared to do this, there was no guarantee they would stop. And then, after all that thinking, after weighing every possibility, every risk, Hai made a decision that stunned everyone present. No one reacted in time.
No one could stop him.
He said he would step in and pay that debt, not just a part, but all of it, in exchange for Ivy's safety. No conditions,
No hesitation.
leaving no room for doubt. The air fell silent. All eyes turned toward him. Tieu San looked at Hai, speechless. Tears
Kept falling.
no longer the panicked tears from before, but a flood of emotions built up all at once. She was grateful, a gratitude that couldn't be expressed in words, but at the same time, there was pain, because she understood clearly that amount of money was not small, not something easily arranged, not something anyone could bear, and more importantly, it was not Hai's responsibility, not his obligation, not something he had to do. Yet in this situation, he still chose to step forward, not because of money, not because of the debt, but for Ivy, and for her. That choice needed no explanation. To be understood, Tieu San looked at him with eyes full of emotion
And sorrow.
because she knew behind that decision was a huge sacrifice. Her ex-husband stood there, No reaction, no words, only a heavy silence. For the first time, he felt so clearly his own smallness. A man who once thought he could handle everything. A man who let wrong decisions lead him. A man who hurt Tieu San and failed to cherish what he had. Now, had to stand there, watching another man bear the consequences in his place, not out of obligation, but out of choice, not out of duty, but out of care. The humiliation didn't need to be spoken, to be understood. The pain could not be hidden, and the regret was no longer vague, but something real, tightening around his heart. He didn't dare look up, didn't dare face anyone, because he himself couldn't accept who he was right now. But even so, even as things seemed to have a direction, even with the decision made, one question remained. A question no one dared to answer. Would things really be that simple? Just hand over the money and bring Ivy back? Would those people keep their promise? Or was all of this just the beginning of something even more dangerous? Could Hai really bring her back safely while facing people capable of such cruelty? People who didn't hesitate to use a child as a tool for pressure. And after this horrifying incident, would Tieu San's ex-husband truly wake up? Or would this regret be temporary and everything return to how it was before? Would the mistakes really stop or just pause, only to repeat again? In another way, everything still lies ahead. All the answers have yet to appear. And what will happen next? Stay tuned for the next episode.
Xin chào mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình nhé. Nay thì mình tiếp tục đưa đến video về câu chuyện của Tiểu San nhé mọi người. Bây giờ thì mình đang hoàn thành nốt các bước để edit video, cũng chưa có xong đó mọi người ơi. Liệu mọi chuyện tiếp theo sẽ như thế nào, diễn biến câu chuyện ra sao? Mình đang nghe thử cái nhạc xem có ok không. Cho nhạc lại. Cảm ơn mọi người rất nhiều. Hẹn gặp lại mọi người trong những video sau nhé, để đón xem những phần tiếp theo của nội dung câu chuyện của Tiểu San. Thì nhớ đăng ký kênh của mình, hơn nữa là bật chuông thông báo lên để không bỏ lỡ bất kỳ video nào mọi người nhé. Tạm biệt mọi người.